Well, hello everyone. There is another interesting panel is coming up. I know it's a Friday morning and Mongolia has been hosting us fantastically, you know. Look at the hall, everyone is still sleeping. That's a good indicator. So, we are now starting with a Fintech model and we have great speakers. I'm a moderator for today. My name is Fuad Karimov, coming from Baku. I'm a regional managing director for Xsolla. And you perhaps saw like some brief ad before. We are helping game developers to monetize their potential. And today we had a fantastic panelist. I'll start with Nargis Dustmatova, who is a chairwoman of Fintech Association in Uzbekistan. She has been leader in a fantastically growing market. I go to Uzbekistan twice a year. And it's fantastic to be there, like from the hospitality perspective, and see how the trend's developing. You will hear a lot about that today. And we have our host, Byambasuren from Mongolia, who is the CEO of Mongolian Fintech Association. A great opportunity for all of us to hear about Mongolia trends, ecosystem, and learn more about what synergy can we have. And also a chairwoman of Asian Fintech Alliance member. Thank you very much for hosting us. And last but not least, Nuriddin joined us today. Thank you, Nuriddin, from Uzbekistan. Nuriddin represents almost entire CAMCA region. He is coming from Tajikistan, having great experience across the CAMCA in fintech industry, has a great success to share today in his fantastic Alif case, and he will talk about AI, he will talk about buy now, pay later concept. So a lot to learn from you. Thank you very much, dear panelists, and welcome. Let's begin. All right. So, Bimbev, may I start with you? Perhaps you can walk us through Mongolian ecosystem, the opportunities you have here. What trends do you see? I know we have observed some developments recently, but it would be great to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, as Mongolia, we have been undergoing the development in digital transformation in the financial sector, especially in the fintech sector, financial. So I would say in a totally, and today I want to mention some of the statistics. And today we have 98% of the adult population already holds in banking services, and also the same percent of 98%, all the transaction totally we go the online by online. So it means like is all of these statistics which Mongolia has already shifted to digital. So and as for the fintech industry, we have been developed in 2017. And since then, today we have a fintech company almost 180 key players in Mongolian fintech ecosystem, according to the survey of Mongolian Fintech Association. So, I want to mention all of these in fintech. The growing is depends on the technology advancement, I would say. So today we have 69 company and non-banking financial institution. That company already licensed by the Financial Regulatory Committee, and also 8 companies are the e-money, e-wallet issued by the Central Bank of Mongolia. So at least all of the advancement of technology, it depends on the penetration of the mobile phone and also internet. In Mongolian, as for Mongolian, we already penetration of smartphone. 90% all of the population, they already own the smartphones. So I think all of these growth, maybe it depends on the fintech industry.
That's a very good statistics. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Nargis, apart from leading the association, you're also a practitioner. You're on the board of the PAYNET. So you know the industry firsthand. So perhaps you can share with us the trends within Uzbekistan, because we have been observing there's a huge potential, we all know, from the population perspective, from the business growth perspective, and what trends do you observe from the fintech perspective? Thanks.
Thank you very much, Fuad. Indeed, we as a FinTech association, although it's an NGO by its nature, we coming as a practitioners, as a hands-on people coming from the private sector, working directly with state-owned banks as well as the FinTech payments companies and IT services providers. So it's a very positive trend that we see. So it started like back in 2017. I think the COVID kind of really accelerated the growth. We see some very sophisticated products in Uzbekistan. And I'm very pleased to see, or to say, and this is one of the really kind of confirmed statements, is that we are, in Uzbekistan, there are really great products that are very much, kind of ahead of the game, and ahead of the game compared to Europeans, to American markets, or to even Middle Eastern markets. Because we take our fintech companies sometimes to business trips, and we share the kind of a knowledge, understanding what could be, the shared knowledge, the technology that could be embraced or adopted. And we see that there are a lot of things that can be shared and shown to the world. That's first of all. So obviously the open banking that everybody's talking, that we embrace that like even before the terminology came in place. So it's a very natural thing to have one single stop shop in a single app, a super app, where all the other bank cards are available. So the payments is very advanced right now. In terms of the infrastructure, I think we have to give credit to our government. There has been a number of different reforms, the laws, the regulation that has been adopted, a number of investments that has been invested over the course of 5-10 years in order to cover, obviously the digitalization, the mobile access, the internet penetration, and so on and so forth. But in reality, we see some very interesting products, right? So the retail market itself, it's now very sophisticated. I think, kids, everyone is currently online. But we still have a lot of room to develop. For example, the micro, small, medium enterprises, they just became very important to the strategy overall. So there are different type of products that we see now embedded and provided through the projects or the program, the apps itself. And another thing is, although we talk about the level of internet coverage, we still see in some cases, especially in the rural places, there's still kind of lack of a trust to the financial services. That's one thing that we are kind of combating right now through various projects that we initiated as a FinTech association. Also, there is obviously people are using phone as a phone, not as a connecting, talking to someone, not as something that would be potentially, kind of financial services. So I would say trends are picking up, MSME, micro, small, medium enterprises, BNPL, because of the e-commerce, and you probably heard about some of the prominent names already making it to the Crunchbase listing. It's like, I really want to ask the audience, is there any specific brand, the fintech company that you guys know today? Shout out the names. It's not Uzbek.
PAYNET.
PAYNET. Kaspi is Kazakhstan. Uzbekistan. Uzum, Kaspi, obviously it's Kazakhstan. We have Alif, who is now also presented in Uzbekistan. But there are more names that we need to showcase, and there are more names that are attracting investments at this moment. And this is actually our goal right now, to kind of bring more investments and to make our fintechs more visible, because there is a story and there is a technology behind that, and we want to, kind of showcase to the world.
Absolutely, yeah. It's fantastic to hear that we have names developed within the CAMCA, and we also know that Nuriddin, you have an interesting and success story to share with us, because I know you have managed to secure within Alif over the 200 million of investments, and that's really tremendous. It's basically something to lead by example from your side across the CAMCA region. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. So in terms of the today we have around like 7 million clients across different markets, and if you talk about what's the idea of client consumer adaptation for our products, and it's a different for every country. In Tajikistan, when we have started in 2014, and we have started our application in 2017, the idea was to, like, at that time there was a problem just paying for the bills. You know, you go to the bank, and we actually solved the pain of the consumers. So the idea is to find a niche where you can solve some simple everyday needs of your customers. That's an idea. And when we entered Uzbekistan, we have entered Uzbekistan with different product. We have entered with a BNPL product, and the idea was that introduce to the market very simple solution: 90 seconds KYC compliance approval rate.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah, that's
wow.
Easy. And then the product should be very simple. So, and that's actually the idea of how to get your consumers. And you know, first 2 years of Alif, like back in 2014, we were in Fintech. Like first 2014, 2015, we were just a round microfinance company, small. And we have understand, and we have started to look at different perspectives, and we have started to build a technology-driven company, and then we understand that we can expand it. And of course, so there's two things: the technology, super advanced technology, the best technologies that ever you have in the market or like in the world. Like it's not should be like some sort of technology. It should be the best one. And of course, the right people. The right people.
Well, thank you very much. It's an interesting point we're touching upon, because Nargis mentioned about small and medium-sized enterprises, you helping people to get, you know, better access to the credit. And I know, Bimba, you've been working on helping to serve like rather underserved communities to get access to the credit. Now, taking into account your experience with the parliament, what are regulation changes, perhaps bottlenecks, or areas for improvement you see that could help in case of Mongolia and perhaps to the broader CAMCA region?
Yes, and for my notion, you know, the legislation and law policy is very essential for the, not only fintech industry, all of the industry, because of it maybe is in a law, a clear law and policy, it helps more get engaged the international investments or such as, yeah, and stable economy. And as for the fintech industry, for policy and procedure, and you know, and since 2022, the Mongolian government of Mongolia, especially in the Ministry of the Digital Development, they launched that digital nation strategy. So since then, they passed, approved the e-governance law, such as the cybersecurity and data privacy, and also how to protect the customer, and also digital sign. So it's very important. So we implemented in almost 3 years this law. Under this law, and almost 16 procedure already approved. And since then, for example, the fintech company, especially operated in the loan services and BNPL, they should implement the standard, international standard, like kind of the cybersecurity and ISO standards. So it helps more and like a clear, reliable, both client and other investors. So I would say. And also, 2021 and the sandbox environment, sandbox regulation approved by the Financial Regulatory Commission of Mongolia. It helps the more fintech companies to provide the new production and services to test the sandbox environment. So today we have 8 companies. They already tested the production fintech products to the sandbox environment successfully. And also we have been, the last year we approved like supporting IT products, information technology products. So it allows them all IT companies to grant are available for AI-based like projects, and also a funding for like kind of the international certification and standards. So it helps more IT companies, gives them more opportunity to now operated in Mongolian and so on. So today, and all of the fintech company, we should the regulated under the Financial Regulatory Committee, and also Mongolian Bank, Central Bank of Mongolia. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you.
Briefly.
Nargis, perhaps I wanted to continue and hear your thoughts on that, because sometimes associations have different roles, and one of them is to unite industry players, to bring together professionals in that industry, which you do very successfully in Uzbekistan. From my experience, I remember in American Chamber of Commerce, AMCHAM, we used to write the white papers. There is a recommendation to the government. What regulatory improvement roles do you see that you can do, or maybe perhaps have been implementing, and maybe from your experience we can share it across CAMCA? Thank you.
So as when we launched Fintech Association, we were coming from all the pains that the fintech transformation was experiencing during the development of the market. So one of the key missions of the association was to bring the voice and to make it a bit louder, and to draw the attention on certain pains and resolutions, and kind of building this bridge or the platform between the regulator as well as the market. We are now happy to see that the regulator is ready to listen and they're ready to work, and that's very important. So when it comes to the way that we work, we don't have any government support. We are not under the government, or let's say we are fully independent voice, which is a good thing, because we can really draw to a certain aspects, and we are not really part of the, kind of let's say, any kind of manipulation or subject to any kind of matter. So we usually work with fintech, payments companies, banking transformation companies, system integrators. We even have banks itself. We're talking about the digital banks, those who are currently kind of, bumping into certain issues, whether it's the technical issues or it's the regulatory issues. Fintech usually, it's companies that are part of the innovation, accessibility, and the security. So all these 3 pillars are very important to us. So this year we have particularly focused on anti-fraud measures as well as the cybersecurity, given the fact that AI adoption, development are, currently developed at a very rapid kind of pace. But we also see a certain measures that needs to be done on the ethical side as well as on the adoption side, right? So, but in order to make sure that the regulation is taking part, adopted safely, we are we're more actively participating in those groups. So for example, we also have the BNPL regulation right now, and I think everyone in the world is going through this regulation. And, we're still we have two regulators, I would say. Central Bank of Uzbekistan, which is very much in charge of providing the license, managing and regulating the traditional banking and the payments. We also have a National Agency of Prospective Projects, which is very much has a much broader focus on e-commerce, which is booming at this moment in our part of the world, then crypto, blockchain adoption, so all these very innovative platforms and domains that we usually see. And this is, I just naming a few, right? Which is part of the National Agency of Prospective Projects agenda. So for us, it's very important to make sure that we build this bridge and also have a very important part in saying when drafting the regulation. For example, when it comes to BNPL, one aspect in our country, so we are not very much, how would I say, it's not a very traditional BNPL in our part of the world, right? So certain things we can't just safely take from Europe or America, so we don't really have those models where we can easily replicate something, right? There are best practices, but there are always a localization aspect. There are always certain gaps and domestication. So all those kind of aspects, we are kind of there to make sure that there is a much safer way to regulate and something that it will not hurt the players, but rather than finding the balance. So that's what this is what the objective is right now.
Yes, thank you. It's interesting. You touched upon the data security, the ethical aspects, and perhaps the data sharing. And Nuriddin, back to you with the success of Alif. I know you have a great success in scaling, but from regulatory perspective, what challenges you've seen in scaling it across the border? Because you've got great experience in that respect. And again, perhaps it's also something missing in regulation you've seen that could make even pace of the growth faster.
Thank you, Fuad. Yeah, we often get questions when you're coming to Kazakhstan, when you're coming to Azerbaijan and other countries. Actually, when we understand that we need to scale our business, and go out from Tajikistan to other countries, then we have started our business in Uzbekistan after Tajikistan. And then after Uzbekistan, logically should come like Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, other countries, neighboring countries, or Afghanistan. By the way, we had tickets, flight to Afghanistan on 10th of August 2021, right, 5 days before the Taliban take over the country. And in the last moment, we have canceled it, actually. So after Uzbekistan, probably we have been we would be in Afghanistan, but that didn't happen. So, and we have started our business after these countries, we have started our business in Pakistan. It's out of the CAMCA region. And that's why Pakistan? It's because of the population, because of the huge population. But what we understand on this few years, that it is always easier to start a business in Tashkent, in Almaty, in Baku, or in every part of our CAMCA region than somewhere in Lahore, Jakarta, or anywhere else. Because in Uzbekistan, from scratch to operations, it took us 6 months. In Pakistan, it took 2 years. Why? Super different regulatory base, super different region. So for me, now the idea is to focus on CAMCA, because you maybe get the smaller market, but it's more qualitative. And Uzbekistan is the example for that. And I hope soon Alif will be in Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and that's an idea actually. And that's what I am pushing inside the company. And I believe that the CAMCA region is the best region other than other regions for Alif.
I will just add a little bit. Thank you very much, Nuriddin. I think you're one of the proudest cases that we see in the market. And Alif is also part of the Fintech Association membership. But one thing that I wanted to point out is that this regional collaboration that we are talking about for the past couple of days, and I think throughout the year and throughout a certain period of time, and we had the previous speakers talking about building these infrastructural platforms for dialogue and so on. I think we kind of passed that stage already, especially when it comes to the private sector and companies that are providing IT services and financial services itself, or fintechs. They're already wiping the borders. They're already making it, we're not kind of thinking throughout like whether I'm in Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, or whatever. We are like really building the new standardization. And this is a number of certain very large projects that we already see and anticipating with the support of the central banks, not only of Uzbekistan, but other countries as well. And this is like the first move that has been laid the foundation for all the companies in our countries, not just Uzum or Kaspi, as obviously these are one of the globally notable companies, but someone like Alif, Iman, Zoot, or anyone else, those are the companies that are really trying to make the regional projects. So we're not thinking within the local country, but we're thinking about outside. So what we see as the next move, right? We see the open banking, like a regional open banking concept will be embraced. And I think this is a matter of time. And I'm talking about the CAMCA region right now, but not the Mongolia at this moment. But I see even Afghanistan. We do have 2 national payments companies in Uzbekistan, which we are very proud of. And PAYNET is obviously just acquired one of them, called Humo. So it's a very big player. But Humo, last year, when I was sitting in a panel, that has been obviously in Bishkek, that was one of the latest deals already made, the integration between Elcard as well as Humo. Then we see Uzcard is doing the same attempts. And there is a huge potential in Afghanistan. I know that there are representatives from Afghanistan as well. This is like completely like greenfield market for all the fintech companies. We're bearing in mind the geopolitics, but at the same time, I think these technologies will really wipe the borders. And we will see like a Revolut type of style app that will be uniting all of us in one single app with all the multi-currencies and all the other features that you would normally see. When, I didn't know anything about Mongolia in terms of I was very open-minded. I knew that a lot of companies coming to Uzbekistan as a white label, right? I know startups in Uzbekistan are utilizing a lot of Mongolian platforms, but they're presenting it as Uzbek, Uzbek brands. And that's another thing that I've uncovered. But the thing is, because we are very we built Turkic states alliances. Now we have a very strong relationship with Azerbaijan, and someone like Pasha Holding is striking the deals all over, from construction all the way to the payments. And the same collaboration is happening from Uzbek companies with, Azerbaijan and Turkey as well. I know Turkey is not part of the game, but at the same time, it's a Turkic state, right? So there is a lot of brainstorming, a lot of collaboration that can be done. Frontier market as Mongolia, yes, the size of population is small, but you have amazing deals and amazing relationship with Asia Pacific already. It's a huge market. So it's more about really building this connection, despite of all I know the political instability, I know it's going to influence, but in reality, all the private sector is there to really build on the success and make sure that nothing will stop this collaboration. And I think this is already we're already there, and that's what makes it really, really important right now.
Yeah, and additionally, as for the collaboration with the CAMCA, and not only CAMCA and the regional, the Central Asia, in Mongolia, I wanted to mention that some of the 3 or 4 companies, they all entered the CAMCA regional. For example, especially in the payment system, and the POS and card system, they already known as Mongolian as a company. So today, and also we have a huge potential Mongolian company because of for one of our members, they already get investors, angel investors. One company almost in $15 million from the angel investors in Mongolia, and then they already into the other Central Asian, for example, Philippines and the Singapore and the Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan. So I would say that we have a huge potential with the collaboration with not only investment, only the technology provider and the kind of the like platforms, because and you know the Mongolian we have a huge they strict with the law. For example, we should implement the law e-KYC and also anti-money laundering. So today we have the linked with the you know the service government service. For example, we can identify e-KYC by online through the state services, e-platform and the e-Mongolia. We just call the e-Mongolia. So through the e-Mongolia and the customer only, not only fintech company identify the customer, also the customer who want to get the state some of the registration and services. There are almost 600 services and customers can get by online. So it helps, it developed a lot of not only fintech, also the financial sectors. You know, it's very essential for the support in the government. So I would say, yeah.
Please, Nuriddin.
Yeah, just one point, like very important. I think the success of Alif in Uzbekistan is the success of CAMCA fellowship. Yeah. Because two of our fellows, when we came to Uzbekistan, we first like meet the fellows, and that's the support and advices and consultant of the fellows that we were started the right business, and we have started, and it was super successful. So this is a true example of the CAMCA network collaboration, I think, and that's important.
That's amazing to hear. You see the CAMCA producing not just the, you know, by succeeding in finding great talent, developing a relationship, and monetizing the business at the end. So thank you very much for sharing that. Nuriddin, you mentioned about some success factors earlier, and you were talking about the tools. And I know that doesn't matter which topic we touch upon, whether it's education or climate, the AI becomes a reality now. How did it help you in like, and what the challenges perhaps you've seen in that respect? Thanks.
Yeah, I think we have started to build AI solutions like 4 years ago, and by today, like we have like almost like 10 different solutions on AI on different products, and actually the effect of AI, like it's like $5 to $10 million on a yearly base in our company, and if you look from the perspective of you need to adopt something ready, or you need to do something your own. There is no a single solution for that actually. So for some products we use our own built AI systems like scoring system, recommendation system. But for the chatbots, for example, AI chatbots, we have started by our own models, like it's intent model, but by the time we have found out that now the current generative AI tools are so advanced, like it would took years like to build the same one. So we are now mixing up these AI tools and trying to use the best of that. So recently, I have like 100 developers in Uzbekistan in our company. So like from 300, there's 100 is IT. So I'm always saying that that's a lot. Like why I need that, because their salaries is the big portion of the budget, you know. Like, and it's always I want to reduce that size of the IT developers. And recently, like three, four of them left the company. So, and the problem was that we need to get new ones in order to close that gap. But the recently OpenAI launched Codex, the new AI coding systems, and by implementing that, like we have reduced it like almost already 10% So we are not hiring new ones now. So we are, after implementing new Codex AI systems, that part gap is already closed. So it's not AI. It's not AI is taking their jobs. AI doing the job of the IT is faster. So we can make the same speed of the development without any harsh to the business.
Yeah, that's a great example of efficiency. Bimba, to you, about the AI and how has it been transforming in your case, perhaps the credit access in Mongolia?
Yeah, and as for credit assessment, credit scoring, so of course, without the AI, the fintech can't reach the customers more easily. So, and the last few years, last 3 years in Mongolia, and you know, traditionally the bank, commercial bank, they only look the credit history, just a simple history. But today, the AI and data analysis shift towards to alternative credit scoring. It is that, you know, all the companies can analysis for based on the, you know, the customers' utilities and consumer products, and also the like e-wallets transactions, and so that they can suggest them the new products, the proper products for their customers. For example, today, and most of the fintech lending company, they can reach the customers to own products. For example, BNPL and other like small business loans, and if they proper products. And also, I want to mention that some of our companies, they use the AI to like mentioned it, like chatbots, own chatbots, and also the loan and the faster approvals so far. And this year, the January, for the Ministry of the Digital and Innovation, they focus on, they should implement like kind of the national AI strategy to the goal of the boost the digital economy and also to enhance the financial sector. So we are just looking for the AI strategy, and so the national strategy, and so have to grow the faster. So, yeah. And so at all of the rule and, you know, legal law is just approved our government. So it means that our government of Mongolia, they already understand how is important the IT sector and also cybersecurity, customer protection, and not only the AI. So, and this year, since this year, already they understand how to important in financial, artificial intelligence, all sectors, not only financial. And you know, the Mongolia, we just most of the 90% in Mongolia, we just focus on the minor sector, the industry. So, and they have to help the AI sector, not only fintech, and also minor sector. And all of the government, we just discussed the artificial intelligence is more important than all of the sector. So that's why they focus on and implement national AI strategy.
Thank you very much, Bimba. Talking about the developments we just discussed, Nargis, what other potential regional projects do you anticipate in the next 5 years? And perhaps some of them could attract even more international players to Uzbekistan, regional international players. I know Uzbekistan has been very friendly for investors, very open, and I saw it on a governmental level between the countries across the CAMCA and beyond, and on the private business as well. And because of huge potential and, you know, other factors. So what do you have to share?
I will just add to the previous point on the AI, and then I will come back to the question here as well, because that would probably reflect on the future projects as we would see on infrastructural projects. For example, we also kind of see the importance of AI strategy and adoption. Fintechs are far ahead of the game. They're experimenting, they are adopting, they're investing a lot of money in order to lower the risk of assessment, especially when it comes to the credit scoring and customer profiling. We obviously have traditional banks which are, kind of still understanding the importance but may not be investing as much as the fintechs do. So we still see a lot of kind of, traction and development in these regards. But on the infrastructural level, because the data is very important and the infrastructure is also important. I know that the IT park of Uzbekistan is currently having a very strong negotiation with NVIDIA and to build, the first infrastructural project in Uzbekistan that will be really kind of accelerating the rest of the AI adoption. So that's like kind of a little bit of comment to that. But in terms of collaboration, again, back to this topic, which is very important. Let's talk about the case of Azerbaijan again and Uzbekistan. So few people know that Uzum was actually also have been backed up by investments from Azerbaijan, predominantly from Pasha Holding. And it's a news that is not confidential, it's actually in the market, so it's a capital bank, transfers with capital bank. So effectively we see this kind of an inflow of the finances coming from various players. We see Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, we see Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan. It's like less of Turkmenistan, unfortunately, but we see a lot of, funny thing, we have cybersecurity companies coming from Turkmenistan to Uzbekistan presenting their profiles and solutions. So that kind of initial interest has already been passed as well. But we will, most of the biggest brands are now having in their strategy, the long-term strategy, going to IPO. So I think that's something that unites everyone. And in order to raise the valuation of the fintech companies, they are really expanding. So that's a lot of shared common, common denominators for most of the fintech companies. And that's why they're looking for a bigger market. They're looking for their presence through this partnership. And I don't see any fintech companies saying that we will go and do it all on our own. We will get the license on our own and so on. They're only going and utilizing the strategy of a partnership. And that's very important. Even today, when I was checking with Mongolia, I had a very good meeting yesterday, understanding the, the technology, the development of Mongolian market, like payments aggregators, payments gateways, open banking concept, the type of the, products that are currently offered to the market, the level of digitalization. And I think all those points are very important when you're coming into the market in order to see how quickly you can enter the market. When it comes to the product itself, as I mentioned already, there will be some shared products in the form of a super app or in the form of anything else. But I think something like going to Kazakhstan, and kind of taking away Visa and MasterCard infrastructure, that's more of reality today. Before it was like, come on, that's a little bit of a crazy thing to talk about. But at this moment, we see that it's going to be much easier to transact without the need of international payments companies. So this is all going to be packaged in the next 3 to 5 years' time. I think we will be expecting some interesting news. And another thing, bearing in mind that some bright individuals traveling to Uzbekistan constantly here, I want to make an announcement as well that we will be holding a small mini in-merge together with Pasha Holding in Uzbekistan next month on the 16th of July. If you are representing fintech company or investment company, feel free to join our discussion, because it's obviously some of the interesting projects from Azerbaijan will be announced. There will be a CEO of Pasha Holding and all the team will be there. And we're also looking to bring one of the regional big conferences into Uzbekistan on a fintech topic as well.
Sounds very interesting, thank you. It's July, so perhaps WES also as a fintech company will be joining. I would like now to open floor for any questions from the audience we may have to our great panelists. Please. Oh, I see a few. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, Saintulga, 2014 fellow, bit old. So thank you for the session. It was really interesting. I have maybe a bit more detailed question, just two questions. I was expecting you to talk, to discuss more about the buy now, pay later type of products and services and solutions. My question, the first question is, so, you know, buy now, pay later is for mostly smaller transactions. Let's say somewhere between $500 or $1,000 or even $5,000 for people to buy, you know, home consumer electronic goods, TV or washing machine or furniture. How is the market, or how is Uzbekistan and Azerbaijan are managing the collateral issue? Because you cannot register it as a collateral, and is there a type of solution, or is it, you know, you just kind of manage it with a higher interest rate? And then the second follow-up question is, what is the NPLs or non-performing loans in the buy now, pay later section?
Maybe I can start off the overall picture, and then you can lead towards the NPL and how it's performed in Alif. Yeah? It's one of the very hot topic for people in Uzbekistan right now, especially in the fintech area, where we have the working group on BNPL regulation. So indeed, it's a very interesting product. It's got the unique aspect. Right now, it's kind of valued, the level of transaction in Uzbekistan for the BNPL is around $800 million, and it's going to be projected to 1.2 billion. So it's a very hot market. One of the reasons why it's so hot is because we still have, let's say, people, the consumers, that don't really trust the traditional banking products, as well as, you know, they are not, how would I say, they can't be risk assessed because they are not really part of the banking coverage. So it's a great service for them because they can really, you know, they are like disposable incomers, let's put it that way. Those who are on a very low salary, and this is like an excellent product for those who are like kind of splitting the installment plans. So one of the things and unique aspect in Uzbekistan is that when you are a consumer, and obviously Alif can, Nuriddin from Alif can talk more about that on a NPL side. One of the things is that when you are, in a kind of a consumer in BNPL, and then you are a customer, and on the collateral side, we have this method of really, if you are late with your repayment, then fintech company or BNPL provider, they can really withdraw the debt from any account, from any card. And that's a unique point that we have in Uzbekistan, and a lot of external or foreign investments are coming because of this specific feature. And this is point for the discussion and the regulation right now with with our Central Bank of Uzbekistan, because we're still kind of trying to give the definition. Is it the consumer loan, or is it the engine that will be increasing the e-commerce and embedded into e-commerce? So that's depending on this specific terminology, we will have a specific regulator. As I mentioned, we have two regulators. If it's consumer loan, then it's going to be Central Bank of Uzbekistan, and a little bit different, games or the rules. If it's going to be acknowledging that it's part of e-commerce, then it's obviously going to be with National Agency of Prospective Projects. But I will leave to Nuriddin to talk about the NPL and how you obviously manage that.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, it depends on the market. For example, how the market is mature, how the legal system works, how the collection can work, how much scoring data you have. And actually in that markets that we are working, like in Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Pakistan, we don't take any collateral. Like we don't collateralize, like we just give it like this. So because of the scoring that, for example, in Uzbekistan, because of this so much, we have 100 parameters on the scoring, on our scoring. So we know exactly who will be paying, who will not be paying. And of course, it also depends on the frauds, how much frauds you have. For example, we have started in Lahore, started to give, and started to make sales on mobile phones, and most of the people are not paying that, like they're taking and they are disappearing, because you don't have much scoring data. There is and it of course about the credit culture. Like when the market credit culture is mature, people are paying on time. They understand that it affects their credit history and etc. So in our case, we managed to have higher approval rates. Like for example, in the banks, you get 30–40% approval rates. Like from out of the 10 people, 3–4 people gets approval, for example. But in our case, we have 60–70% of approval rates. After the 10 people, 6–7 get approval. It's a higher one, and that's why we have a bit higher NPL levels. It's around on vintage basis 5–7%, but it's a business model. You get more clients, more sales, a bit higher NPL, but overall the business model works. That's actually how the BNPL in our case works.
Yeah. As for Mongolian, for second question, BNPL. So, and back to the 2017 in Mongolia, you know, the borrowers of Mongolia, fintech borrowers, it was almost 420,000. But within 5 years, it increased to 5 times. Now is 2.7 million in the borrowers, and those of them, 1.7 is truly fintech borrowers. So I want to mention that for BNPL, the non-NPL is in Mongolia is 2 or 5%. It's very low. We just looking for is very low percent. So all of the overall the industry is NPL is today and 4 and 5%. So it means that our Mongolian borrowers, it's already the educated, financial educated. So that's it.
That was a good question, and you see all the participants were engaged. I know everyone is looking forward for lunch, but we can take one more question. Oh. Or a couple, perhaps.
Thank you very much. My name's Laurie Muir from Australia. I represent a company called BizPay Payment Services. Firstly, I've obviously written my question. Firstly, congratulations on an amazing conference. It's been worth the travel coming from Australia. My question to the panel is both a question and a statement. Is the panel aware of the alternative currency market called the trade exchange industry that has been operating in the Western countries and most Southeast Asian countries for more than 60 years now, which uses modern day technology like banking platforms. Apologies. It must be said that the industry has no relationship to crypto. It uses bank-like structures for facilitating trade without the use of traditional monetary-based currencies. In America alone, more than 200,000 businesses actively trade in the trade exchange industry as an alternative source of new business and finance for their business. It is estimated that $16 billion a year in B2B and B2C transactions take place yearly just in America alone. At the higher level, the World Bank estimates that 30% of all global trade is conducted in the alternative currency markets and the trade exchange industry, and including the top 300 Wall Street companies. Again, it's a bit of a statement. Personally, I've been involved in the industry for more than 25 years. Therefore, my question to the panel is, are you aware of this 60-year-old fintech-based alternative currency called the trade exchange industry that is used at all levels, from small business, corporate, through to governments in both Western and Southeast Asian countries? It must be also noted that even entities such as the Olympics utilise this form of alternative currency. Okay, it's noted that the 60-year-old industry is yet to be adopted by CAMCA region. And my question to the panel is that, again, it can also bypass sanctions. Example, the Thai government utilises a form of alternative currency to bypass UN sanctions to trade with Iran. So again, my question is to the panel, are you aware of this particular industry, and how do we get that through my company into this region?
Just to clarify the question, because it was interesting analysis, are you talking about bypassing, did I get you right, bypassing sanctions in certain...
Well, in this particular alternative currency industry, the Thai government trades directly with Iran using this type of industry. So it's using this industry itself. Again, there's 200,000 businesses in just the US alone trade $16 billion a year. It's an alternative. It's nothing to do with crypto. It's been around for 60 years. We're looking to, it hasn't been adopted in this region yet, and it's a payment service. It's all identical to banking, but it uses alternative currencies. Again, it will take another level to explain that, but the question to the panel is, has anybody heard of the trade exchange industry before that is used by Western countries?
I will not probably answer the entire question, but I will just say some inputs that have been made by the National Agency of Prospective Projects. Is that one of the things that they partnered with Tether, one of the coin-based, coin providers, and also a Binance that will be agreed right now as one of the specific infrastructures. We also have fintech companies that are now obtained crypto licenses. So obviously one of the alternative currencies that will be experimenting, I would say, not fully adopted as of now, but experimenting. And another thing is, I don't know if if you could call it a kind of alternative way of the currency, but I know that some of the products, such as kind of converting money into tangible gold through the apps, that's going to be kind of introduced by end of this year in some of the super apps. But I think, your question is a little bit much more broader in terms of, the sanctions and so on. So I would not be really commenting on that at this moment because, that's not really something that I would be more than comfortable.
Yes, thank you. And as we know, the fintech or financial institutions in general are highly regulated area. And even the company I represent, we research on the potential, even like crypto alternative currencies. But maybe perhaps we can take that question during the break and discuss it with you at the break.
Thank you. As I said, it's not crypto. It's an adopted through tax codes in Western countries that's been regulated but hasn't been implemented into this particular region. I may have dropped the word sanction, but that was just an example. But it focuses on traditional day-to-day transactional circumstances between businesses. And it's something that I believe would benefit the region that hasn't been considered. It's nothing to do with finance, it's nothing to do with crypto and all that. It's been around for more than 60 years. Again, it hasn't been adopted in this region, which would show significant benefits, especially across borders.
Yep. I think we totally can take it during the lunch and discuss it in more detail, but thank you very much for bringing it up. Dear panelists, thank you for sharing your experience. It was great to have you and to learn from you. And we very much look forward to have new cases of success from you in the coming CAMCA forum. Thank you. Thank you everyone for participating.
Thank you. Thank you.